Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to go over InflatableOffice's vendor tools and just going to give it a few seconds here while we wait for some people to get on. So as usual, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them at the end of the live stream. And if you're watching it afterwards, when it's not live anymore and you still have questions, you can use our support tool. You can find it up here at the top, help, and submit a question through here just by typing it in. You can also email us, support@inflatableoffice.com. If you're looking for more details about this vendor tools, you can click on the knowledge base here, and then under let's see here, inventory, rental inventory, we have a section called tools for vendor items, and so this will be the main area where we keep the documentation updated. So I'm really excited about the vendor tools, where it's come a long way since we added it, and we've got a lot of stuff planned for it as well, so it should continue to improve. But the big picture for vendors items and vendor tools is we want to make it so that you can not only share your inventory with other people in the area, but that you can also keep track of items that you're subcontracting out through a third party. So we're going to go over both of those today and how our software helps you manage that process. So the first part is I was going to show you is how to share your inventory. So if you go over to settings, and you'll basically just be sharing this with anyone else who uses InflatableOffice. So you simply check all the items that you're interested in making available, and then down here under more options you can hit share inventory, and then all of your stuff will show up. If you click on vendor items and go to my shared items, you'll see everything that you've shared here. If you need to unshare it, you'll be able to check everything and go to more options to unshare, or do them one by one. I believe going here to edit, advanced, and then unchecking the shared item box here. So I'm logged into this demo account here, and I shared all these items. So I'm going to switch browsers here, and now I'm logged into a different account, Demo ML, and so we'll be able to kind of see how this works. So if, as this other person, I can click on vendors down here at the bottom left, and I'll see this is kind of keeping track of all the vendors you use and you set up. But down here we'll see available vendors, and so here's that account that just shared their inventory. And so I can just check it and hit add vendor, and it'll add it to this list here. And so over here we have markup, and so if we have all the prices set on these items, and so if you have this set here, it's going to mark them up by a certain percentage, which you can easily edit here. If you've set up the items yourself and have set in the prices that you want to charge, and it's already marked up, then you would just set that to 0. All right, so let's go back to settings here on this account. I want to find those items that have been shared with me, so I click on vendor items, and then I can go to available items. So now I'll see all the items that have been shared. And if you click it, it'll show the specifics of the item. So the pricing that's set up here is the pricing that the original item is set up under. So I can't edit anything here. I can just simply choose the items that I want to use, and I can hit add rental. This will cause them to show up now under my vendor items here. I'll still have other items available here, and obviously we went over my shared items, but this is going to show me everything that I don't own, but I am subcontracting out. So now I'll be able to edit it if I want to. Now, as long as I don't change anything on the pricing here, it'll stay linked to the original item, so that if the vendor changes the pricing, it'll automatically update. But if I come in here and start changing things around, it will no longer be linked in that way. And so it's just important to keep track of. So Ideally, you won't change the pricing here. You'll just use that markup thing, but if you need to, you still can. Some important things here is these items you can, so they're not shown on your quote page, but you'll still be able to access them from a rental by searching for them in that quick add box. But if I want to have them show up on my quote form for customers to be able to select from the quote page, you can click on the checkbox here, and then you'll be able to categorize it as well. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, so the pricing, I wanted to go over how it looks here. So if I go to a lead in the system and I hit edit, like I was saying before, you can search for the item. So the birthday bounce house will now be available for me to choose from a lead. Now, if I had categorized it, it would show up in one of my categories here, but otherwise I just have to search for it. So it's gonna use whatever the price was. I think it was $140, and then I had it marked up 10%. And so it's already set for that. But if I need to set it to whatever price I'm gonna charge the customer, I can. And then from here, if we hover over it, we can see availability and cost that the vendor is going to charge us, and we can just set those if we want. We can also email the vendor and ask them, hey, what's the availability and what's the pricing here? And so I want to show you what this page looks like. And so this vendor would get the email, click the link, and then be able to say, oh, here's the times, and here's the details of it. So this one I've actually already configured, but I did something wrong here. Give me 1 second. Copy link. There we go. There we go. It tries to show as few details as possible about it, so you'd be able to communicate those with them if you needed. But let's say I'm going to mark this as I'm available. I'm going to give them a deal, 130. You'll need to pick it up. So at this point, you can hit save. And so we also have this link here. If they have their own IO account, they can hit this, and it'll create a lead with some of the details in it, so that in their own system you can keep track of it. So, for example, if you've shared your inventory, you would be able to use this link to make it a little easier for yourself. Okay, so now we can see that this item has been marked as available. Here's the cost. So if this event becomes confirmed, we have the way. Oh, before we move on here. So this email here is if I want to manually send out this new quote request, but it can also be configured to automatically go out. Underneath email center here, we'll see we have vendor new quote. So if you want it to automatically go out as well, you can. So I think it'll go out in the next hour or so after a new quote comes in, as long as it's in the future and it has this vendor item on it. It'll only send the specifics of the items that they've requested. But if you want to just manually send them all, you can just mark that as no. Before I move on as well, I wanted to mention some of the advantages of this system is if you have multiple vendors that have the exact same item, let's say rock wall or something, you could have all of them set up in here. You can have multiple vendors with multiple items. As long as the names are the same, the system will know that you'll have multiple people you can use, and so it'll show up on here like that, and it'll show you the different companies and how they've all responded with their cost and availability, so you can pick which one you want. Also, if you have an item, like let's say you have a birthday bounce house, and then you also set up a vendor item that has a birthday bounce house, it'll always use your item first. And then if a second lead needs it on the exact same time, then it'll use the vendor's item and try to proceed with this quote request thing. Okay, so like I said before, we're going to pretend this is a confirmed event, and now I want to send a kind of a confirmation to the vendor. So this is where you'd use this vendor PO thing, and you'll be able to email this out to them, just kind of a confirmation with some of the specifics on it. So these are all different templates, just like our regular template system we use. You'll be able to find the page here if you want to edit it under settings pages, and the template here is under contracts. It's the PO one. So again, we try to minimize as much information as possible because we don't want to give them any more details than needed. And it's only going to show their item and not other items in that event. So you can also get an alert when they respond to those things. So under alerts here, we have vendor availability response, purchase order sign. So you probably want to turn those on so you get alerted. You can also filter. We have several filters you can run. So if you type in vendor, you'll be able to see all of the events that have this person's things on it. If you want to see all of your leads that have any vendor item, you can just choose this one that says, start typing it, vendor all is a keyword for that. And this will show me all the quotes that have vendor items on it. If I want to see all the ones where they declined it, I can as well. Decline. I don't have any that declined. But this is more useful if you also include some details on it, like, well, I only want to see upcoming events and ones that have been declined, and then that way you can handle it appropriately. You can also run a report if you want to see all your upcoming events that have a vendor item on it. Vendor all. You can come down here and hit customize report, and then down here at the bottom we have all these vendor columns you can add to the report. So then we can say, all right, let's see. You'll want to keep the item information as well here. Let's see here, rental name. Okay, so now I'll be able to run a report that'll show me the items that's requested, the price, and who the vendor's with. So you can save the report here just by going to create new and type in vendor report. Same thing with that filter we used. Probably don't want these ones in here. There we go. Vendor coming events. All right. You can also, we also have under overview here, we've got a whole section about vendors that can kind of give you a snapshot of stuff that's going on. Same thing in calendar here. You can go over to the vendors section and it'll show you the calendar view of it. Give me 1 second here while I look over my notes. And while you're waiting, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments there, and I'll get to those in a few minutes. I actually think I covered all the material I wanted to go over. The things that we have planned upcoming for the vendors is to add some more auto emails for things like if the event's canceled, or things to notify the vendor of upcoming events and stuff like that. But right now, this is what we've got, and I think this will be a very valuable tool for you guys, and so we're going to continue to improve this further. So if you have any feedback or questions, just don't hesitate to let us know what they are. All right, let's look up those comments here. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions about this yet. Like I said, if you have any follow-up questions, just email them in or use our support tool, and look forward to the improvements we got. I think our next release is planned mid-April, so look for some more improvements in that, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.